Spain wants to press ahead and request a bailout, but Germany is saying wait, not yet. Despite the delay, Spanish bond yields are sharply lower. So what's going on? I'm Jamie McGeever, and this is today's Market Pulse. Well, let's get straight out now to Don Smith. He's economist at ICAP. Don, a Reuters story from last night in Madrid saying Spain's ready to request aid, but Germany is saying, hold on a second, despite the delay, Spain yields are lower. I thought delay and roadblock was bad for these bonds.
Well, remember that there is still a bit of residual doubt in the market as to whether Spain will ultimately request a bailout at all. So I think all of this, paradoxically, does serve to underpin the market's belief that Spain will eventually go for a bailout. And that ultimately is positive for for peripheral markets, Spain in particular.
And I was just going to say we're down below 5.8%. This time last week we were heading towards 6.2%.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's interesting as well what we've seen happening to the Spanish curve this morning, because we've seen a marked outperformance. I think the bonds in the 3 to 5 year sector of the curve, which is pretty much around where Spain's auctioning debt on Thursday, are down about 20 basis points this morning. And we've seen a steepening in the curve from that sector out further out beyond 10 years. And I think it gives some hint as to what might happen to the Spanish curve in the event that Spain does formally request a bailout of some sort. I think there is a good chance we'll see some outperformance at the very short end of the curve and some steepening of not just Spain but the Italian curve as well.
You mentioned the auctions on Thursday. We've got $4 billion worth of paper coming on the block on Thursday. As you say, up to 5 years. That will go well, won't it?
Yeah, it's coming at a fairly fortunate time. I think events have conspired to provide quite a supportive environment for that sector of the curve. As I said, this is the sector of the Spanish curve that's outperforming at the moment. As long as we don't see really yields extend too far low and we see some overpricing in that sector of the market, I think there's every expectation that it's not an insignificant size in total, around 4 billion. 3.5 to 4 billion, but market sentiment in that sector of the curve and for peripheral markets in general is positive and supportive, so I think the auction should go very well.
Having said that though, Don, Spain does have redemptions of up to 20 billion this month. If 4 billion is not insignificant, 20 billion certainly is not insignificant.
Yeah, the redemptions are a little bit of a concern, but Spain is well ahead of its funding programme for the year overall. I think the redemption at the end of the month may well in some ways dictate the timing of a bailout request. I do think we will see something before the end of October, perhaps after the regional elections on the 21st.
Okay, one set of auctions that went well today was from Austria. Now, we don't normally talk much about Austria, but they got very strong demand for the 2019 bond, and their bonds are doing pretty well today.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good result. I don't think the market's really expecting a disappointing outturn from these auctions. It's a relatively small auction amount, 1.3 billion. So I don't think it's wholly surprising. The core markets are doing reasonably well today. We saw a little bit of a wobble earlier on from Germany. But I don't think these results are wholly surprising, but fundamentally they do underpin the more positive sentiment now, more generally in the Eurozone.
OK, just to finish up, as you say, we've got the core bonds holding their ground today. Spain and other periphery doing pretty well, doing even better. How do you trade this for the rest of the week?
Well, I think the differential between Spain and Italy remains significant. I mean, we're above 100 basis points in the 3 to 4 year sector. I think if and when Spain goes for a bailout, we'll see some compression there between Spain and Italy, and I think this looks like quite a good trade. So buying Spain 3-4 year out of Italy. OK, Don, thanks very much. That was Don Smith at ICAP. That's all from us for now, but do join us each weekday for Market Pulse, a snapshot of what's moving on financial markets and why. I'm Jamie McGeever. This is Reuters.